What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Hope all you having a great day so far. So, getting into this episode, fairly decent episode. Um, it feels like it's been a while since I seen Dante and Lulu together. You know what I mean? Like it feel like it's been a long time because M. Rylan was on maternity leave and she recently got off maternity leave and started filming episodes again. Um, I just feel like it's been a minute since I seen the two of them together, and it was good to actually see them together. And they were trying to get in some romance, but it was interrupted by Valentin and Charlotte because Valentin had to drop Charlotte off or whatever because he had to have dinner with Nina trying to get Nina back. Um, so basically, Valentin told Lulu and Dante that if him and Nina don't get back together, then he was gonna go back to family court, get his full custody back, and take Charlotte out of the country to live. Um, And then he said that if him and Nina do get back together, then they can all work together as a cohesive unit, basically share custody of Charlotte. I feel like that's not fair though. Even if he don't get Nina back, I feel like that's not right. That he gets to get full custody, go out of the country with Charlotte, and what Lulu ends up with visitation, because that would mean that Lulu would have to hop on a plane and go wherever they are just to see Charlotte for a limited time. I feel like that's not fair. And if that does happen, I feel like Valentine should have to pay for Lulu's expenses to go out of the country to see Charlotte because he's rich and she's not. And that's a lot of money, like depending on where out of the country he's going. Either way, any trip out of the country is expensive. So if she has to fly out of the country to go see them, she shouldn't have to spend her own money because we all know she and Dante can't afford it. She can't afford to spend a lot of money to go out of the country every time she wants to see her daughter. That's not fair. And if that happens, I feel like Valentine should be ordered to pay her expenses, her travel fees, her hotel accommodations. He should have to pay for all of that if that happens. Because I remember a few years ago, um, Holly Berry. Holly Berry had that same situation with her baby father, Aubrey, I think his name is. Um, he's the father of her oldest child, her daughter. And she was trying to go out, I think, to Paris. I think she wanted to move to Paris or whatever. And basically, the judge was saying in that case that if she moves to Paris, she would have to pay for her baby father's travel expenses and his hotel accommodations to go out there to see their daughter. And I think that's completely fair because Holly Berry is rich and her baby father is not as wealthy as she is. So he can't afford to keep paying travel expenses to go back and forth to Paris every time he wants to see his kid. I felt like that was a fair judgment. It was totally fair. And I feel like if that happens for Lulu and Valentine, I feel like Valentine should fork over the cash for her to go out of the country to see her daughter. Fair is fair, right is right. Um, it's just all in fairness. I feel like throughout this entire thing, Valentine has not been fair. He kept their daughter away from Lulu ever since she was born, and that was fucked up, completely fucked up. And she has built a bond with her daughter these last few months. So I think it's in everybody's best interest if they all get along for the sake of Charlotte, whether he gets Nina back or not. They should share joint custody. I feel like that's the fair thing to do. So hopefully, and Lulu is, she's not ranting and raving like she used to. So I give her mad props for that because she's, you know, being mature about this situation. She's not going off. She's not yelling, screaming. She's very calm, and that's a good attitude to have, you know, because yelling, ranting, and raving ain't going to help her none. So hopefully this works out for the best for Charlotte and Lulu because, they deserve to be around each other. Um, so anyway, Kiki and Dylan. Dylan is trying to get his freak on, and Kiki trying to study for her MCAT. So wait a minute, Kiki trying to become a doctor, but she got to go to medical school. You can't just take a test to do all of that. You got to go to medical school for years to become a doctor. Um, But it is a soap opera, so they obviously gonna fast track all of that. I mean, Michael is CEO and he really has no experience, and yet he's the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company. So I guess anything is possible. I actually like the thought of Kiki becoming a doctor because, come on, we do need more doctors. Um, and just think of the evolution of Kiki. I mean, a couple of years ago, she was jobless, had no direction in life, didn't know what the hell she was going to do. And fast forward to now, she's becoming a doctor, she's studying, she's taking this seriously. Dylan is trying to, have sex, and she just keep telling him, like, I need to study. Like, she's taking it seriously, and I commend her for that. Um, so, anyway, the entire Crimson team basically has to go to Morocco. And, you know, Nell was excited that she got to go to Morocco, but Nina quickly, told her that this is not a vacation. This is not play. We're going for work. Don't get too excited. I mean, even if I knew I was going to Morocco just to work, I would still be excited. You know what I mean? Because I've never been anywhere like that. I've never been out of the country and all that. So, even if it's not a vacation and I can't see the sights, just being in Morocco is an exciting experience because you get to learn their culture, all of that, even if you have to work. You know what I mean? I think it's a dope thing. Today was actually the first day where I actually tolerated Nina. I actually saw Nina in a work mode. You know what I mean? And I love seeing Nina like this because it takes away that boringness, that she usually brings to the show because of her and Valentin, because they have the same conversation. But today it was all about Crimson and work and them trying to figure out this crisis. I loved it. You know what I mean? Like it was what I want to see from her, in work mode. I think she shines like that. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to put out a crisis. You got to go to Crimson. I think it's dope. She got to go to Morocco and deal with a problem. I think it's a smart way to use her. You know what I mean? She's the editor in chief of a major fashion magazine. You can build on. I think the business. This is what I'm talking about. I think the business storylines are what they need to start doing more of. You know what I mean? I think it brings intrigue. I think it brings a lot of interest to the show for me. You know what I mean? Because I love business, and I think the drama surrounding people backstabbing each other to get to the CEO position. I think it could be a fun thing. If they write it correctly. Um, so speaking of backstabbing, Michael is pissed about a decision that Ned made while he was basically acting CEO while Michael was dealing with Sonny and stuff like that. Because he donated something to Mayor Lomax's campaign or whatever the case may be, trying to butter her up for their fracking business or whatever. Michael's pissed about that because he's trying to go into a different approach with ELQ. He has a different vision from Ned. His vision, he's trying to go into the solar business and stuff like that, which is a lucrative business. But the way Michael explained it is this solar thing is a big risk with short term success. I feel like that's where companies fuck up because I've seen this in the business community in real life, like where CEOs invest millions of dollars in something that's so risky, but it brings you short term money. And you're not even getting a huge, return in your investment. So I think Ned's approach is actually a lot better than Michael's because Ned is moving into something that's long term and going to make them millions of dollars. You know what I mean? And that's why Ned had to remind Michael back in the day before Michael was even born, Ned was on and off CEO of ELQ. I remember Edward begged Ned to come back to ELQ to straighten out the finances and stuff and get the company back on track. And when Edward fired, I think it was Edward that fired Ned from the company because he wanted to take over again as CEO. Ned basically told the Quartermains, don't come running to him when the company is on a downward spiral. Because they always ran to Ned every time the company was in trouble, they ran to Ned to fix it. And he did. He made the company more money. You know what I mean? And then they would just take the CEO title away from him and fuck the company up more and then run right back to him to fix it again. That's how it was back then. Ned really knew what the fuck he was doing as CEO. Um, Ned and Michael say they're talking about if you're trying to take over ELQ, you're gonna have a fight. Not taking anything away from Michael. I feel like he is a shark when it comes to business, but he doesn't have that experience Ned has. Ned knows ELQ inside and out. Ned has connections, powerful connections. Ned knows how to get shit done. If Ned wants to take over that company, he can and he will. And honestly, I think that's what he's planning on doing. I think he lured Michael into a false sense that he wasn't trying to take over the company. I think that's exactly what he's doing because Michael offered him a job as VP of projects or whatever the case may be. Um, and now when Michael heard that Nell was going to Morocco, he wants to jump on that bandwagon and go with her. And Nell keeps telling Michael, "What about ELQ? What about business?" You know what I mean? Michael keeps saying, "Well, he's gonna go and use an excuse to go to Morocco, trying to say that he's checking on their North Africa holdings or whatever, which is complete bullshit, just so he could run behind Nell." See, that's not what a good CEO does. You're just gonna drop business to go run behind your girlfriend. She's only gonna be gone for a couple of days. Like, it's the same thing, Dylan tried to do with Kiki. He tried to ask Kiki to go with him to Morocco as well. It's like they can't go on business trips or whatever without their significant other. It's like you're going away for a couple of days, not a couple of weeks, not a couple of months. It's a couple of days. You can't be away from your significant other for a couple of days to go handle business, something that's making you money. You know what I mean? Like, damn, y'all not joined at the hip. I mean, and Nina made it perfectly clear this is business, it's not pleasure. So why bring Michael to Morocco, even though it wasn't her. Nell didn't want to bring him. Michael invited himself, but Dylan bringing Kiki makes no sense because this is business. You're not gonna have chance. You're not gonna have a time for romance and all that. Nina made it clear it's business. All of this is business. And once y'all finish the business, y'all coming back home. It's no time for pleasure. You know what I mean? Like, this is strictly business. So I don't see the point in bringing significant others to a trip that's pure business. What's the point? You know what I mean? Like, on company time, company money? No. I mean, of course, Michael's going to pay for his own expenses going, but still, it's like you're not going to have time to do nothing. It's all going to be business. So I just don't see the point in the significant others going. And Kiki made it clear she got to study, so she can't go. She's taking it seriously. Like, she can't just drop with her studies and fly off to Morocco to go be around Dylan all day while he's working. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, focus on business. Now is the time to focus on business, you know? But Ned agreed to take the position as VP, and I feel like he's definitely plotting something with Michael. I think he is plotting to take over ELQ. And quite frankly, I'm here for it. I want Ned to take over as CEO. I feel like Michael should be working for Ned, not the other way around. Because Michael, in my opinion, still has a lot to learn. And it shows. Like, it really shows. What pissed me off most about Michael was the fact that he wanted to join ELQ in some business venture with Sonny. That really pissed me off. Because that's something a Quartermain would never do. Ever. Never, never. Ever, ever. Ever. Never gonna happen. That's what really made me feel like, yeah, he needs to be out as CEO immediately. Immediately. Um, so anyway, we get to the trial of Julian Jerome. Julian was found guilty on all counts, and he is facing up to 20 years in prison, not exceeding 20 years and no less than 15. I said, damn. Mm-mm-mm. 20 years, boy. By the time he get out, he'll be 70 years old. Damn. That's a long time. I couldn't sit in nobody jail cell. I'm sorry. That's why I stayed out the criminal life. I can't sit in nobody jail. That's just me. I could never in my life ever do it. I'm claustrophobic. I can't sit in no 2x2 cell. I can't do it. Fuck that. Nope. Never gonna happen. Not me. But Julian has to go to prison. I feel bad for Alexis too because it hurt Alexis a lot. She's losing the dude that she loved. I have a feeling that Julian gonna get out. I don't think he's not probably gonna do a year in here. Um, and it was crazy, but it was good that Ava. was by Julian's side though. She went to the courthouse. At least he had her support. And right after the verdict and everybody cleared the courtroom, the fucking reporters came in there hounding Ava, and I'm glad Griffin was there to, help her out. And the way he attacked that cameraman, I liked it. I said Griffin, he bucked up on that cameraman. And the fucking reporter gonna sit there talking about something he gonna have Griffin brought up on charges or whatever for knocking over his cameraman or whatever. And Ava lashed out and told the camera guy, I'm gonna sue the shit out of you. I feel like these interviewers, like these reporters, even in real life, I feel like they overstep their bounds. Like a lot of times they do. They go overboard. And I'm glad Ava and Griffin showed them what time it is because you need to stop hounding people getting up in their face. Like I would sue the shit out of them too. I don't care nothing about freedom of press. You need to get up out of people's personal space though. So I'm glad I like the way they handled it. Ava is definitely a bad bitch. Like definitely. She can handle herself, no doubt. Um. So anyway, this was a fairly decent episode though. Hit that comment button, hit that like button. I'll see you all later. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy it. Party, live it up. I'll see y'all later.